And we're back with another edition of the JumpOffPlus.com today. So my man Kyle Anthony Moore, JumpOffPlus.com columnist, also writing for Scout.com. You can find that at HighSchoolGirlsHoops.com. Thanks to Kenny Kalina. Definitely wanted to get him in the studio today. We're going to talk a little bit about our selections as the season winds down, regular season, getting the conference tournament play for Conference Player of the Year, National Player of the Year, National Champion, and also a throw in there, the best player that you've never seen or maybe even heard of. So we'll get started today with the Big 12. Kyle, who's your pick for Big 12 Player of the Year?
Well, Big 12 Player of the Year, I went straight to Courtney Paris. I just feel like with the double-doubles and her play, she pretty much had that locked up.
Gotcha. Agree with that. Like Paris a lot. 16 points, 14 boards, 2.5 blocks a game, 24-2. Sherry Cole, Oklahoma. They've done a great job, and Paris is a big reason why. I know that you have put down also Andrea Riley, the small guard out of Oklahoma State. Tell us why you like her.
Yeah, I think you definitely have to consider her point guard play, her ability to get the ball to the people in the right spots with open shots. You have to consider her for that award, but I think at the end of the day, it's Courtney Paris.
Gotcha. I agree. I like Riley a lot. Had a chance to watch her play even as a high school kid here in Atlanta at a couple tournaments down the street, and obviously the diminutive point guard can play and get the ball where it needs to be, get to the rim, but definitely Paris in this one. Right, moving on, Big Ten, what you got?
The Big Ten, I think that it's definitely Jantel Lavender, her play at Ohio State this year. Obviously with Prohalis getting her the ball a little bit, but Jantel Lavender averaging almost a double-double. Actually averaging a double-double, excuse me. She's definitely player of the year in that conference.
Gotcha. Lavender coming in big this year with Jim Foster, and sophomore 20 points, 10 rebounds a game, 54% from the field, really getting it done there. One of the reasons why Ohio State's at the top of the Big Ten. Moving on, looking next at the SEC, right here at home, what you got?
The SEC came down to DeWanna Bonner for me. I felt like Auburn's play this year, going through most of the non-conference season and some of the SEC play undefeated, and then having a couple hiccups in conference, but her play has been pretty consistent, and we had a chance to go down and watch her play against Tennessee, and she just put on a performance. I think she had her career high that day, so I felt like she definitely had to be SEC Player of the Year.
Sure did. That was a great day, sitting there close to the court, watching her do her thing, and had 34 that night in front of 12,000 people, standing room only capacity crowd there in Auburn for the matchup with Tennessee as Pat Summerall on her way to 1,000 wins. Bonner's averaging just a shade under 21 at 20.8 a night, 9 rebounds, couple of steals with those long arms at 6'4". Lanky has really done a great job of adding some weight to her frame, and is looking like a legitimate WNBA prospect along with Courtney Paris in the draft this year. Both look to be top 5 selections coming out this year. Bonner's just been great, over 80% from the free throw line. 25-2 on the season there for Auburn. Looking real good. Bonner's been great. Obviously, Shea Brooks from Florida, Christina Worth from Vanderbilt there in the discussion as their teams are near the top of the league too, but consensus between the both of us was for Bonner. Moving on, Pac-10 to the left coast. Kyle, what's that looking like for us?
I was really close to Ashley Walker, but the play of Jane Appel, especially in that matchup with Walker, I think you got to give the award to Walker. You got to give the award to Appel.
Gotcha. I would agree. I had a chance to watch both of them on TV here, and Walker was great in the first one. Appel was solid, and Appel turned around and was able to really do work there in the second one a couple weekends ago. It's been great with production. Without J.J. Owens, the guard that went down early in the year with the ACL, she really is taking a really good Stanford team, put them on her back, and when she's able to do that with her 15 a night, 9.5 boards, couple blocks, and over 60% from the field. They're a great team, definitely Final Four contender, trying to repeat the run they made last year, even minus Candace Wiggins. Appel stepping into that leadership role, and she has Vanderveer's Cardinal at 22-4 right now. Moving on, we're looking at the ACC.
The ACC was tough. There was a couple names that were in there, but I had to give it to Christy Tolliver. I felt like her play at the point guard position, almost playing the scoring guard position for them. Scoring and distributing out of that spot and carrying some of those younger players like Mara Strickland. And so I gave it to Tolliver, but I had to give Monica Wright her consideration with what she's been able to do at Virginia.
Absolutely right there. Tolliver and Wright have both been really, really good all year long. Wright really got the season started with a flurry and a barrage there against Tennessee on national TV, and Tolliver Finished up last night with 34 on 7 threes in front of 12,000 at the Comcast Center. Great atmosphere there, but I went in a little bit different direction, picking out Marissa Coleman, the great 6-foot wing there from Maryland out of College Park. 16.5 a night, 7.5 on the glass, with 2.5 of those being offensive. Really putting in work. Got a chance to watch her live the other day down at Georgia Tech, and she's just tough. I mean, great through her shoulders, thick, strong, can post you a little bit, can get into the lane and still make a play. And you're right, both her and Tolliver have done a great job with Kaiser, Leonard Kaiser there out of Virginia, Mara Strickland from up in that Maryland area as well as freshmen, really putting them on their back and making Maryland a contender once again this year. Brenda Freeze's team, when they're clicking on all cylinders like they were against Duke, definitely a Final Four caliber team right now at 23-4. Now moving on to the Big East, which is probably the hardest conference for us to choose between so many great players. When you look at Notre Dame, UConn, Louisville, even Rutgers, you've got plenty of great talent in that league. Kyle, who was your choice there?
Well, it was the Big East, and I had to go with Angel McCarthy. I just felt like McCarthy's play with Louisville. I think you take McCarthy away from that Louisville team, and they're battling at the bottom of that Big East. But with McCarthy there and her play and the things she's been able to do this season, putting up 40 spots and 30 spots here and there, I felt like she had to be the player of the year.
Completely agree on that one. We'll talk about why in a second, but also, obviously she's putting up 23 a night with 9 boards, 5 steals. It seems like every time there's a pass on, Angel McCautry's somewhere around the ball. I wish they kept a stat for deflections. Jeff Walls probably does, but that's not available on the internet. I wish it was. I'd love to track that number as well. She probably gets about 10 of those a game. Just a great player, especially for a kid who wasn't highly recruited coming out of the Patterson School there in North Carolina. Was kind of overlooked by some of the bigger programs, and really with Tom Collin and the previous staff that has since moved on to Arkansas, she did a great job of being in the gym and working. Her work ethic is just contagious by both Coach Collin and Coach Walls' accounts. Just a great player, so you definitely want to make sure that she gets the recognition she deserves. I think another person that has to be mentioned in that is Renee Montgomery, the point guard from UConn. Seems like every time they need her to make a big shot, she makes a big shot, play after play, and still finds a way to get her teammates involved, and just great from beyond the arc. I think obviously you've got to mention Maya Moore too, just the year that she's had, and segueing that into the National Player of the Year race and discussion. Kyle, what'd you bring to us for that?
Well, I definitely respect the play of Maya Moore. I felt like, obviously mentioning Montgomery and Tina Charles and some of the other players that are with her this season, that she doesn't have to do it consistently every night and every minute out on the floor as much as McCarthy does. So I had to give the National Player of the Year nod to Angel McCarthy this season. I still feel like that Louisville team is nothing without her. So, I feel like, it's Diana Ross and some people in the background when you look at Louisville.
Sounds good. Well, it reminds me a lot of when Candace Parker and Sylvia Fowles won the SEC Player of the Year and Candace won the National Player of the Year. Maya Moore is just a player that it's easy to gravitate toward. She has the game and she has the demeanor and has the smile and all the things that make her an easy read for the media just to love and gravitate toward. And that's my pick for National Player of the Year. Absolutely love Angel McCarthy. I think she, once again, her story is just amazing. But Moore with 20 points a night, 9 rebounds, really just getting it done on a very good team. A team that hasn't lost a game to this point. UConn averaging 2 steals a game, 3 assists, a block and a half, getting it done in every category, not to mention the 53% from the field and the 42% from beyond the arc, which is really something that she spent a lot of time on as a high school kid, junior and senior year, really getting in the gym, focused, making sure she was better. And amazingly, she's the only wing right now in the top 50 in America, scoring-wise, who's taken more than 300 shots from a field goal percentage perspective. So to take that many shots and have the field goal percentage that she has, I couldn't help but vote for Maya Moore for Player of the Year. Kyle, who's the best player out there that people have never seen or maybe even heard of?
I'm going to go with Dawn Evans. I feel like her play, especially, you think about her outside the three-point line and things she's been able to do this year, putting up points. If you haven't gotten a chance to see Dawn Evans this year, you definitely need to try to do that.
You're absolutely right. The guard from James Madison can do it, originally from Clarksville, Tennessee, just outside of Nashville. I'm going to go with Alicia Clark, the transfer from Belmont, playing at MTSU. 5'10" post, can really play, 61% from the field. Just gets it done. Dirty work, whatever needs to be done, she's doing that. Kyle, who's your pick for national champion?
I'm going to take the field. I feel like somebody's going to beat UConn this year. I'm going to take the field.
Well, until proven otherwise, I've got to stick with Coach Gino and UConn. Anytime that you're undefeated this late in the year, got to put my vote in for you. So Kyle's got the field. I've got UConn. Don't forget that here in about a month.
We'll get back to that.
Hey, as always, we appreciate you tuning in to JumpBallPlus.com today. Check us out next time. And as always, any gym is home.